Fred, tell us, first of all, this is it's a very sort of personal story, and possibly one that you need to know a little bit about before you make a film about it. So tell us where the idea for this came from.
Yeah, I'm a bit emotional because I haven't seen the movie in a long time. This is why we wanted to see it tonight with you. Yeah, I would change a few things a year later. Yeah, the film started with the idea that in my life, after the Me Too big wave, a lot of women actually told me that they have been abused sexually, and I was really in shock. I mean, I didn't know it was such a big problem, and so I thought I wanted to talk about it, and then I realized there are lots of movies about that subject, and I wanted to find a place where I could talk about it. Mm-hmm. And then calling Claudia, who I knew, who really was for many years the manager of a home where I actually worked as a social worker when I was a student, more than 20 years ago. I called her and she opened the doors to this place. And so I met all the girls and boys too, but I decided to, focus on girls. Mm-hmm. And the social workers, and I started working with them and doing a research, like really trying to understand what it's like to live in care and what it's like also to work with people in care. So these interviews led to a story. And then workshops where I could develop the story even further, because the workshops were based on who they are, to base my work on their personalities and find situations and all that, and also to teach. I don't like the word teaching, but to really bring them to be able to act without acting. Meaning being themselves in situations, mm-hmm. So that's basically how it happened.
And Claudia, when Fred first approached you, were you cautious at all about having very intimate stories being made for film, for entertainment?
Est-ce que quand il t'a contacté au début, est-ce que tu étais prudente et peut-être un peu méfiante à propos de l'intimité de certaines histoires, des histoires personnelles qui pourraient être mises dans l'histoire à l'écran?
J'étais un petit peu inquiète parce que, comme je dis souvent, quand Fred m'a dit qu'il voudrait que je joue dans un film, j'ai dit mais je ne sais pas faire ça.
I was a bit worried.
Surtout pour ça.
So my main worry was, well, I've never done this sort of thing. So when Fred said, I would like you to be in the film, that was my main worry, because I've never learned to do that.
Et puis après, par rapport aux situations peut-être un peu trop intimes, non, je me suis pas fait du souci au début, parce que en fait, la seule chose que je savais, c'est que j'allais jouer mon propre rôle et que mon personnage n'allait pas très bien et qu'il avait un secret. Mais je savais pas tellement autre chose.
So in terms of potentially intimate or delicate situations, I wasn't worried at that stage, because all I knew was I was going to be working in a world, in an environment I knew. I was going to be myself, and I knew what I had to do, and all I knew was that she had something, or I had something in me that she wasn't very well in herself, the character of Laura. That's all I knew.
Et puis je vais ajouter quelque chose, c'est que avec toutes les discussions que nous avons eues, Fred et moi, depuis des années, sur ce système quand même du travail social où il y a beaucoup de belles personnes, et puis quand même on travaille dans un système qui est peut-être un peu fou.
So with all the discussions we've had over the years, because we've known each other for years, talking about this system, the social system. And within this system, there are some very wonderful people, but this system is, after all, quite mad.
Et donc, le fait que Fred voulait aller voir un peu à l'intérieur de ce système et montrer un certain nombre de choses, ça m'a parlé, parce que les enfants, les adolescents qui sont en institution sont quand même souvent invisibles.
And so because Fred wanted to explore, go inward and explore aspects that meant something, that were different to the system and that had never shown, that's something that I connected with and could relate to, because in general, children who find themselves in these institutions are very invisible.
And Anaïs, for you, why did you want to say yes to a project like this? And then what was your experience? How much did you enjoy talking and working through the experiences that we see on the screen?
I'm sorry, but I'm gonna speak in French. Mais moi, j'ai dit oui parce que à la base, c'était un projet que je me disais c'est marrant, on fait ça avec les copines du foyer et puis ça va être quelque chose de cool, quoi. Ça va être un truc amusant.
So initially, I said yes because I thought, well, it'll be fun. It'll be sort of a project, and I'll enjoy it. I'll be doing it with my friends in the care centre, in the foster home. So it'll be fine. It'll be cool.
Mais pour moi, c'était un petit truc, quoi. Je prenais pas trop au sérieux. Franchement, je prenais beaucoup à la légère.
So really, it was quite I didn't take it very seriously. It was quite to be honest, it was very light-hearted for me.
Mais j'ai adoré l'expérience et puis en fait sur le tournage j'ai adoré l'ambiance, j'ai adoré le fait qu'on était bienvenus exactement comme on était en fait, parce qu'on jouait pas de réel rôle en fait, on jouait notre rôle de jeunes de foyer en fait.
But I loved the whole experience and the ambiance on set, the fact that we were welcomed as we were as people, and because we were ourselves. We weren't creating characters, we were playing really ourselves as people who are actually living in a home.
Et en fait, je trouvais ça grave stylé de dire à mes potes, ouais, j'ai joué dans un film.
And then I kind of thought it was pretty cool to say to my mates, I've been in a movie.
Donc le challenge, en fait, il n'était pas si horrible que ça, parce que la seule chose qu'on nous demandait, c'était d'être nous. Et Fred travaillait par autoroute, donc il nous donnait des petites phrases qui nous guidaient, mais en fait on n'était pas des acteurs sur le plateau, on était là en tant que jeunes de foyer avec nos galères et nos trucs chiants.
So there's, in terms of the challenge, that in terms of being there and working on set wasn't that great. Fred gave us this. He had an idea of a motorway, which was a guideline, a line to follow, and we were working in front of the camera, but we were actually following our guideline and being ourselves within that.
Donc voilà, en fait, c'était quelque chose de super agréable. Moi, je me levais le matin, j'avais pas l'impression d'aller de relever un challenge, quoi. Je faisais un truc chouette.
And so I didn't feel like in the morning I was happy. I didn't feel like it was a challenging issue, because I was just doing something that was fun.
Amazing. You mentioned these workshops, which obviously have been extremely beneficial to people who haven't acted before. What do those comprise of? How did you create the right kind of environment for this?
Well, there are many things that I can talk about. But first, there was we needed to develop a really strong relationship. You know, I had to know them very well to ask them to do things that, because they are not actors, so they had to be themselves in situations, and I could never ask them to pretend to be someone else. It was impossible. So what was really the most important thing was to develop a strong relationship so that we trust each other. Because also they didn't know the story. They were discovering every day on the set what their character was going through. And that was a deal we had, and to do that, you have to really trust each other. And through the workshops, they really improved a lot of things. But I think when we shot the film, they're very modest, but I think they slowly became really amazing actress, because they gained confidence and they understood the way I wanted them to work, and they felt comfortable. And I'm telling you, really, by the end of the shoot, I could redo scenes, ask them to redo, to actually act in a way, and the whole crew was in shock. They were amazing on the set. Sometimes the whole crew was crying, because it was so strong. So I want to thank them because they really delivered something amazing. And they are both nominated for the Swiss Awards, Best Actress.
Of course. Claudia, you have so many powerful, moving, emotional scenes in the film. Which one do you sort of look back on that you think you've really got a chance to accurately portray all of the experiences that you've had up until making this film in the care system?
Il y en a plusieurs.
There's several.
Mais c'est vrai que j'aime beaucoup ces deux scènes où Alison me dit « Mais qu'est-ce que tu parles de protection alors que tu n'as pas su protéger ta fille ?»
So I like two scenes that I like very much. The scene where Alison says, well, what you talking about protection when you weren't even able to protect your daughter?
Parce que voilà, c'est vrai, c'est des vraies questions qu'on doit se poser. Et puis,
Because it's true, they're real questions you have to ask yourself.
Et puis la scène où Laura va chercher les filles pour aller dans la forêt faire un feu et leur dire toute la vérité. J'ai beaucoup de tendresse pour ces deux scènes-là parce que je ne sais pas si Claudia l'aurait fait, aller chercher les filles. Mais Laura, elle l'a fait et je trouve qu'elle a été courageuse. Elle a bien fait.
The other scene is the one when Laura takes all the girls to kind of run away and have this nighttime picnic. And I have a lot of the campfire, yes. I have a lot of tenderness for that scene because I'm not sure as Claudia would have done it, but Laura had the courage to do it.
You were going to say the balls, weren't you? Yeah, I love that scene. It's a really beautiful one. Fred, when you want something to be as based in realism and as natural as this was, you obviously don't. You want everyone to be comfortable, but you don't want to over-rehearse or over-workshop. So how did you make sure that everything was always fresh?
Well, we, like I said, they agreed to be surprised. And so I gave them secrets, and like Anaïs said, what I call the highway is one very simple instruction that because they are not professional actors, you cannot explain very complex things to them. They just need to be, first they need to be relaxed. You can't put them in stress. They have so like I would say, you in this scene, you will never agree with her, and you will always agree with that person. So I make some sort of context, synergy, where they're going to interact, and then we see what happens. And then slowly, that's why I do only a few takes, but very long takes. Slowly I give them informations in the ear so that the others don't know. So it's a strong drama. We all agree. It's not a comedy, but we had a lot of fun doing that.
I can imagine. What was that like from your perspective, Anaïs, not knowing what somebody was going to say to you from one moment to the next?
Sur le moment, c'était juste honnête en fait, parce que c'était des choses qui pouvaient se passer dans la réalité. Donc, on allait me dire quelque chose et j'allais répondre quelque chose dans la forme la plus naturelle que je puisse, en fait.
So in the moment, it was really just an honesty of how you would reply in real life. Somebody was going to talk to you and you'll react as you would in real life.
Après, quand, par exemple, de temps en temps, il nous donnait ces autoroutes, mais de temps en temps, il allait nous chuchoter des choses qu'on devait dire à quelqu'un pour le faire réagir ou quoi. Et c'est pas forcément des choses qu'on aurait dit dans la vraie vie. Je parle notamment d'une phrase que je dis ouais, t'es une sale gouine. Ça, c'est quelque chose que j'aurais jamais dit dans la réalité.
So from time to time, he gave us these, as they call it, the highway, and then he would come and whisper something in our ear to say something. And for example, that might not be something that would, certainly something I wouldn't say in reality, was one of the sentences was, you're a dirty dyke. And I wouldn't say that in real life, but that was whispered.
Mais en soi, c'est un personnage. Donc voilà, en fait, on se rassure avec ça, mais c'est pas moi, ce personnage, c'est Audrey.
It's the character speaking. So that's how you reassure yourself, it's not me, it's Audrey, the character.
Et d'ailleurs, ce que fait Audrey dans le film, je l'aurais sûrement pas fait dans ma vraie vie à moi.
And actually, what Audrey does in the film, I certainly wouldn't do it in my own life.
Vraiment, mais... Not. non, je suis sûre, mais en fait, j'ai eu surtout peur du résultat quand je savais pas comment allait être coupé le film, et même si c'est pas forcément de l'histoire que j'ai pas su entièrement jusqu'à ce que je vois le film. Peut-être une chose.
But what I was more scared of, or really scared of, was the result, the end result. Not so much because I didn't know the full story.
Parce que je faisais confiance à Fred pour l'histoire, même si j'ai su l'histoire la première fois vraiment quand j'ai vu le film.
Because my entire trust was in Fred. So even if I only found out the full story when I watched the film.
Mais juste, imaginons, je sais pas, que le montage, je le trouve mal fait. Tu vois, j'avais grave peur de ça, que ça donne un résultat pas fini. J'en sais rien.
But I was really scared. Imagine that, the final edit was not good.
She didn't trust me at all.
She did.
Mais en voyant le résultat, en fait, ça m'a rassurée.
But when I saw the result, I was reassured.
Mais c'est vrai que le montage, il a duré genre 2 ans, où des fois, je me disais, mais qu'est-ce que j'ai fait? Qu'est-ce que j'ai fait?
But une année. So so the actual editing stage was a whole year, and I did sometimes wonder what have I done.
Mais non, mais maintenant je suis très fière en voyant un résultat et où ça m'a mené.
And now I'm extremely proud seeing the result and also where it has brought me up. We're here in London.
Tu voulais dire quelque chose?
Before I turn over to you, I just want to ask about your relationship with your DOP, because we talked about this earlier, but it's clearly you have to have so much trust in one another in order to capture everything that we see, because some gold could easily be missed. So tell us about your collaboration.
Yeah, it's also a process, because that's something I always say. I'm a very intuitive person, so everything is not fully prepared. I'm not like that. Mm-hmm. So, and he, my DOP, Joseph, a really good friend. We did 3 films together, and so he knows me very well. He knows how I work. But the first film we did, we tried things, and the film is okay. The second film is not okay. Mm-hmm. And this third film, I think, is very okay, because we really got to know each other, and he knows what I want. He knows how I work, how I am on the set. Because really, there is a script, but the dialogues are not written because I believe that they know better, and because it's their environment, it's their personalities. Even if I'm the best writer in the world, I will never be able to say those things the way they say them too. And Joseph knows that now, and so sometimes I did not even had to tell them things. He did it too. Well, like he heard something, he's shooting in this direction, and he hears something. He turns around and he says, "What did you say?" Because he knows that I need that. And so yeah, very, very important role. But not only for that, I thank him also for bringing his daughter on the set. This is an amazing story I'm going to tell you. He actually brought Justine, his daughter, Charlie, character of Justine, who actually was just a silhouette at first. She was supposed to be, an extra, because we needed extras in the group. And I told her, okay, you're not a character in the movie, but a main character. But please prepare something. I mean, just so you know why you're here. She doesn't come from a life of home and care, like she says in the film. She comes from a wealthy family and everything. And so one day, Cassia Novinia didn't show up on the set, so we had to do something. And I told Charlie, maybe we could do a dialogue with you and Précieuse. So they did it. And this amazing scene that you saw, and Charlie also never acted before. So I was really impressed. And then I said, okay, let's add a few scenes so maybe your character will be in the cut. And that's what we did.
Wow.
So that's
And
really,
she has her own
and she's
character.
also nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good.
That's a cool story, huh?
That's very cool. Love that.
Because especially with the way we work with very long takes, not many takes, but very long takes. Sometimes one take would be like half an hour, So I don't know. To be honest, I don't know.
You want to think about it?
Yeah, no, I didn't check, but I have to because people keep asking me that.
Peut-être, quand les éducateurs... En fait, il faut savoir déjà qu'on n'a pas tourné dans notre propre foyer, on a tourné dans un autre foyer parce qu'il y a eu des embrouilles, enfin des trucs. Des
So
galères.
first you have to know that we didn't film in our actual foster home. We had to, for various reasons, complicated reasons, we had to film in a different space.
Et il se trouve que dans cet autre foyer, il y avait un potager où les jeunes du foyer ils pouvaient travailler ou quelque chose comme ça. C'était très proche de la nature en fait.
And in this other centre, there was actually a vegetable plot and that they could work on and everything because it was very close to nature.
En plus, c'était la première scène qu'on a tournée, je crois. C'était la première, la première ou la deuxième scène qu'on a
And it
tournée.
was one of the first or second scenes that we actually shot.
Mais qu'on peut voir dans le film. Et puis en fait, Fred nous avait mis là et nous avait dit, voilà, les éducateurs, ils vont vouloir que vous travailliez dans le potager et vous aurez pas du tout envie.
And so Fred said, yeah, the care workers will say they will want you to work the earth, work there in the garden, in the plot, but you just don't want to. You won't want to do that.
Mais j'étais là, mais en fait, dans la réalité, on m'aurait mis dans ce potager, moi et les autres. En fait, on n'aurait même pas pu nous mettre dans ce potager. Comment ça, travailler dans un potager?
But in the reality, it was like, what would have happened? We wouldn't have been able to even work the plot, the earth, and grow things. We wouldn't have. How in real life would we have done that?
Donc en fait, c'était surprenant parce que ça aurait pas pu arriver qu'on soit là tous dans ce potager. Enfin, on se serait tous cassés en fait.
So it was really, really unexpected because none of us would have been able to work together in that area, and we probably would have gone what and pissed off.
Thank you.
Et toi, Claudia?
Alors, je réfléchis, puis je me dis, je sais pas parce que j'ai l'impression que le processus était tellement bien fait, mais je vais vous dire qu'il y a une scène qui m'a énervée, tellement énervée.
So I'll
C'est-
je vais faire la première partie. Excuse-moi. So I'm thinking, but I can't. Everything was so well prepared and pre-worked to get that there was nothing initially. But I think about it, and there is one scene that really annoyed me.
C'est celle où, en fait, on est en colloque, tous les éducateurs, toute l'équipe.
Oh, it's when the whole team of social workers are together in this talk.
On a tourné ça, en fait, c'est une
It was very long, yeah.
longue scène. Et alors, c'est une caricature. Ce moment, c'est une caricature.
So it is a caricature. This scene
Mais
of
quand
moment.
même, moi, je venais de partir à la retraite après avoir travaillé presque 40 ans à faire des colloques.
And I had just taken my retirement, and after nearly 40 years, I'd been working in these sessions.
Et c'est agacement de dire, on est là, on parle, et finalement, on ne fait quand même rien. C'est revenu tout de suite, et je me disais, pourvu que ça s'arrête, cette scène-là.
And this annoyance of remembering those endless talks and sessions just came right back up, and I was like, well, I just wish this scene could end.
That's a good one.
Can I first say something? Thank you, because it's something I really wanted to say. This project is, for me, this project is not only cinema. I used to be a social worker, but I think I still am a social worker doing what I do, social films. And especially in this case, I do this because I not only want to tell a story and then make a good film, I also want to help them believe in themselves, do something they're proud of, and get out of the ghetto they're in, really. Those are the reasons why I do this kind of film. Yeah.
Il y a énormément de choses. Il y a beaucoup de choses à dire par rapport à ça.
There's an awful lot to say about this, of course.
Mais ce que vous dites, si j'ai bien compris, c'est tellement juste, c'est que oui, on essaye de faire de notre mieux.
So I think what you've said is absolutely correct. If I've understood correctly, we try to do our best.
Et nous avons aussi notre propre vie avec nos drames, avec nos questions, avec...
And we have also our own life with our drama and our own questioning and problems.
Voilà, puis après, on travaille ensemble pour transmettre des valeurs à des enfants, alors que nous-mêmes, nous n'avons pas les mêmes valeurs.
And then we work together to give them values, to give the young people their values. And when we're not really are putting those in place, our own values.
Et je permets, voilà, une dernière chose, c'est peut-être aussi que l'histoire de l'éducation vient de très loin, partout, et que pendant très longtemps, peut-être qu'on a cru que on pouvait protéger les enfants sans protéger leurs parents.
And the history of social care goes back a long, long time. And I think that the problem is that we think that we can protect the children without protecting the parents.
Voilà. Et peut-être que, je crois que nous sommes dans ce sens-là, dans ce système social, en train de progresser. Alors, le chemin est encore long, mais je crois, en tout cas, moi j'ai assisté à ça et je suis fière de ça, quand on apprend à regarder chacun des enfants d'un peu plus près.
I think there is progress. We still have a long journey, but there has been progress. And something I'm proud of is that we are now learning to look closer at the child.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think because I really wanted the film to be choral with many characters, and it's difficult.
Ensemble piece.
Ensemble.
Yeah, a choral.
Choral. Well, many characters, and I just like I used to do documentaries before. I used to many films I've made were built like this, and like a book with chapters. And I realized that maybe one of them is a little bit too long. That's how I feel now, a year after finishing the film.
Was this going to be Laura's story and then you decided to branch it out into the chapters, or was it always going to be all of the girls and Laura's story?
No, I wanted to tell many stories that really merge to looking at the system as a kind of complex, not failing, but maybe very complex system. And all together it was supposed to go to the end of Laura's story. But it was very tricky because I wrote the story like this. And then after we finished, when I started editing, we wrote the film with a complex structure, going backwards and everything. And then when I didn't have the nerves to edit it that way, so I edited a linear film, and I wasn't happy. Really, it was okay, but... And then the first lockdown came, and I started from scratch, and I edited everything myself because I wanted to try to see if it works. But it was harder because we had things that were not in a script, like the character of Justine. I had to find a way to put her into the story because I wanted to save, to show what we had, you know. So, yeah.